Hi everybody, it's Ellen again. I have another tutorial for you. This time it is for my Large Granny Square. It's just a bigger version of the regular one. In this one we actually have a part for the center, so we don't have to create it like we did in the other one. But the only drawback is then you need, 5 pin bars, but the original was on 4, so if you made that one, you should be able to make this one as well. You can only make 3 squares on one loom length, so you need at least 2 loom lengths to get all the way around your wrist. For me, it's probably a little short if I want it to be just kind of a loose hanging bracelet. So I probably need one more square, but for someone with a smaller wrist, it would be fine. I did find this cute thing to close it with, so I think that works for me, so I don't have to worry about making one more square or hooking up 3 loom lengths to make this. These are from like the Sewing Notions section of stores, like these I got from Joann's. Basically, I guess any girl would know this. This is the hook, a larger version of the hook that you'd find on most bras. So that's all this is, but it works well because it's open right in here, so you can slide the rubber bands in and you can close it that way. I probably would have closed the rubber bands up here a little differently, so I wouldn't have had the C-clip on there, but I just found these recently, so I just snuck it in there, and that's where that came from. But more options to close bracelets is always good, and this one is a great idea because it's already open and you don't have to worry about trying to loop it around there. You can just slide it in after you're done. So, I'll show you how to make these. Like I showed you, it is 5 pin bars wide. The rows are even. I don't know where you came from. So this is, like I said, I'm only going to make it on one loom length, and then I'll show you how to extend it onto another loom. So we'll get started, and we're going to start on the left side, and we're just going to lay bands all the way down to the end, all the way up. So it's single banded. I haven't tried any of them with double banding, but I think it would probably look alright. Just be pretty tight in places, that's for sure. And usually I only double band if I don't like the result of the single banded. So, all the way up this side. And you'll come back to the beginning, and we're going to lay our cross pieces, which is the black, and this is what would have been the black on this bracelet as well. So like I said, we can fit 3 squares, so we're just going to start down here and go over to the right. And then each square is 5 pins wide, or tall. So we're going to skip 3 rows, and then on the 4th row up, or the 5th row, depending on how you count there, but skip 3 of these sections, and then we're going to put our next bands over to the right. Like that. And we'll skip 3, and on this 4th one here, we'll go over again. Like that. And then the last one will just go up here on the top. Like that. So then come back to the beginning, and you're just going to go all the way up the right side. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and put our end cap here. like so. Then come back to our squares down here. Because this is a repeating pattern in each square, I'm going to do one step in the square and then I'll repeat it in the next ones, and then I'll come back and do the second step and then repeat it. That way we kind of, so I can keep the colors all the same and keep them straight. So starting down in this one, so you kind of look, we have this 9 pins in the center here. What we're going to do is take a band and we're going to go out to the corner from this pin, and this pin we're going to go straight out, then to the corner, straight out, corner, straight out, corner, and then straight out. So just kind of starting our framework for the bottom of our granny square. So there's to the corner, and this one's straight out. Another to the corner, straight out, corner, and straight out. So it just kind of looks like a little outside part of a starburst, I guess. So we'll do the same thing in the next square. So here's our 9 pins in the center. So this one will go out to the corner, and this one's straight out. This will go to the corner, straight out, corner, straight out, corner, and straight out again. Just pushing these down, and we'll repeat that into the last square. So corner, straight out, corner, straight, corner, straight, corner, and straight. You can kind of see what we have here. So we'll come back to the first square again, and now we're going to make a starburst from here out in the center of this part we just put on. So it doesn't really matter where you start, but just lay the bands all the way out. Into that starburst pattern. Oops. Like that. So just the starburst in the center here. And if you want, you can put your end cap on right away for these. Like that. And then we'll go up and do the next starburst in here. Just like that. And another end cap. This is the only end cap I actually use for this bracelet, which is unusual for me. Alright, and then the last one, the same thing. Starburst out. And put that end cap on again. And I'm just doubling them up so it doesn't have a super tight center. So then we'll go back to the beginning and lay some more bands. And these ones are going to go in the corners of the square, just right here, all the way around. So from this pin right here, just have 2 bands going out. And the same thing right here. And on the other side. Just like that. So just a little kind of half square. And we'll do that in the next ones. Like that. And the last one. Like that. So now just one more set of bands here to lay. This time they are going to go from this pin right here in the middle out and connect to our little box part we just made. So from this pin here out to one side and then out to the other side. So just a little V coming from the inside out. And over here, the same thing. And from this pin, and from this one. So just the V here. And we'll repeat that in the next square. So from this pin, or to this pin, I guess however you look at it, come out. And from over here. This is kind of the star pattern that we had before. I just changed the colors so that you could see more the differences, because I think the stars kind of threw people off with the other pattern. So, last one up here. Like that. So now that's everything on for the square. So we'll turn our loom around. We'll just work in one square first here. We're going to start by looming out our center starburst. So you go in through your end cap and just find the top band pull it back towards itself, wherever that may be. And same thing for the rest of them all the way around. Like that. So just loom out the starburst in the center. And then next, normally you can just go into any of these little spots and loom them all out. Because I changed the color of my V's here and the little boxes, I'm going to just kind of do, I guess, the blue ones first here and loom those over. If all of the yellow and the blue are the same one on your bracelets, the same colors, then it doesn't matter where you go first. But I just want the bracelet to be uniform, so I'm going to loom out all my blue ones first. So you're just going in through this starburst loop that we flipped over, and that's acting as our end cap. Just like that. Get the last one here. Normally I would have just went around, but like I said, because of the colors, I'm alternating. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my yellow ones. So now they'll be on top of the blues around and be the same. Like that. So now all we have left to do is to do the, in my case, the purple bands here that we put on first. You're just going to go in through the other side of the ring and in through, I guess, a little end cap that's created from the starburst. So go in through there and just pull those back towards themselves. Just make sure you pick up the band underneath so you catch all those and close them up. Otherwise we'll fall apart. Like that. So that is one granny square done. So we'd go and do the same thing to the next one. Start in the center, loom your starburst out, like that, and then we'll go and do, I'm going to do my blue ones first. And I could have done my yellow ones first, it doesn't matter for these really. Like that. And I'll go back and do the little corner ones. And if you wanted, you probably could throw a few more of these little bands in here to add more color or different thickness to it. I just liked how it turned out this way, so I didn't do that. You could also add end caps on all of these pins are on the outside and give it a little bit different look as well. But then now we just need to do the bands underneath. These first ones we put on. Just bring those back towards themselves. And there's another one done. And now the last square, starting in the center again, loom out that starburst. Like that. Then I'm going to do my blue ones. There. And now my corner ones. Like that. Then we just need to do the underbands. And there's the last square with everything loomed out. So we come back to the beginning, and over here where we have our end cap, we're going to go in and we're going to loom straight up, all the way up. You'll notice that we have our piece, our divider bands that go through here. That band is actually on the bottom on these pins, and that's where we want it. So when you loom up the side, make sure you're grabbing the top band when you get to this point for the dividers. That way we don't loom that band in there yet. So down here, it's going to be the top band. And just pull that up. Now it'll be a bottom band, bottom band, bottom band, and then now it'll be that top band. And just bring that one over. You'll do that all the way up. So it's just the top band there. Just like that, all the way to the top. And we'll come back here to the bottom, and we'll go in through here and loop our dividers over now. So now it's the bottom band, grab that and pull it over, and that's all the way across. Like that. And go in and find the next divider and do the same thing. Grab that band and pull it over, and need a different hook. And up here to the next divider. All the way over. Then you can go ahead and do that at the top as well. I switch hooks because this is technically my last rainbow loom hook out of the looms that I've bought, and it's already got the stress line in it, so breaking 3 hooks in the last couple weeks is kind of a pain. I will suggest that if you need to get a different hook or a metal hook, I know that Rainbow Loom is coming out with a different one themselves, but I don't know how expensive it's going to be for that hook. But if you need a different option, Susan Bates has her hooks. I believe the majority of them are considered to be inline hooks, and what that means is that it's kind of like this is a round pencil and somebody just took a big notch out of it. I think those work a lot better. I normally crochet with boy hooks, and they have a tapered neck where it comes up and it slides in, and they don't actually have much of a hook to them. So you can kind of see the difference here. Sorry, I'm giving a little demonstration here mid. But you can see that it's a little bit different in the hooks and how they grab onto stuff. So if you look for a hook, look for, this one is called an inline hook. This is a tapered throat hook, I guess. So I would suggest these if you're going to look for another one. And don't try and get her plastic version, the Bates plastic version hook, because it doesn't really have much power to it. So, loomed all the way over. Now you come back to the beginning here, and you'll just go in and grab the bottom band and bring the all the way up to the top. With these crochet hooks, I think it was like $3 or $4 for one. This one with the bamboo handle might have been a little bit more, but I don't think it was too expensive, or I wouldn't have bought it. But I can get like a whole set of them for like $10, so they can't be that expensive for the normal hooks. So you're all the way up to the top. We're all done with the looping for this. So now we just need to take it off. So we're just going to take our hook, stick it into our open part right here. If you're not going to extend it with another granny square, then you're going to put your C-clip here so that you can, so it doesn't fall apart on you. I'm just going to take this off the loom. And the middle dividers do stick, so be careful with that. Oh no. Somebody told me I forgot a band. Alright, so take a look at the good square. I tell you, it'd be much easier if there's somebody behind me going, "You forgot that band, you should really get that." But what I'll do, I forgot one of the purple bands in the corner, which pulled the middle band out. So I'm going to put that back there, and I'm going to find my purple band, pull that through, and of course I don't have a C-clip handy right now. I'll C-clip that in later or just whatever. Obviously the rubber band here was kind of loose, so we have a big center, but so I guess, I don't know, these ones were just double banded, so I guess I must have had super tight bands for that. They might have been some of the smaller bands that are out there. But that's what it looks like. So probably a smaller or a tighter end cap in the middle would be better. But live and learn. And I was going to show you that both sides of these are not quite the same. One side, like, it looks better. I think this one. If you see on this side of the bracelet, you kind of have, the middle part is kind of small and I guess tinier than the other side, which is this side, where this side, the middle part kind of pops out more. So it's kind of universal, however you like it looking better. But they're all like that once they're made, just because of how the bands are laid. It'd probably be different if I would have used end caps in it. But although I'm not stoked about how this one looks, it's what we're working with. So to extend this, let me get these out of the way. I went and I laid all the bands again for the entire bracelet, every single one of them. So here's my red arrow side, so I'm going to flip it around to this side and just going to take my hook that I still have in here and I'm going to put it on this side over here. Because as long as I laid the bands the same way as before, which I think I did, then the kind of the smaller side and the larger side should be uniform on this bracelet. But then what you're going to need to do is to stretch this out onto each one of these pins. And we'll just start with the, come on in, start with the second one here. You're going to be going through a couple of bands. Just set that on there. Like that. And go in through here. This is the part I really dislike about extending bracelets. That's why I thought it was very brilliant of me to figure out the just moving the loom and things like that to make the other ones bigger, but can't do that on everything. So you just need to find the centers and get them onto all 5 of these pins. And you can kind of see too if you're getting it in the right spot, because here I have my yellow and blue band and that's where they're meeting on here as well, and this one's just my purple band and that's all I have here. And the same here, and this last one. Like that. So once you have that on there completely, again, there's always issues with the connecting them. So that's what it looks like. I think I was out of frame. But there's always issues with connecting these, and mainly it comes in on the sides because I laid all the bands for this already. This purple band is technically not in the right spot. You can fix it by moving this band underneath here. Probably the easiest way would be to slide this band off. I don't know why I have that hook. Slide this band off, my purple one. Slide it off, and then I'm going to want to pull it up so I'm underneath, right in between there. So I'm underneath my other purple bands, or whatever color bands you use there, and I have the border bands down here. So if I take that and I pull it up under there, Just pull it up. And once I bring it down, as long as I didn't catch the wrong spot, which I did. My bad. There. Okay. So now I have my 3 border bands down and this band back in the middle with the other colors. It probably would poke out if you didn't change that. So we'll do the same thing on this side. Just going to go in, remove this purple band, my corner band, and I'm going to go in and just go under my purple band and pull that up. A lot of times I don't fix these because usually it's on the inside of the bracelet and I don't care because nobody's going to see it, but if you notice it, that's where it came from. So now we have it in the middle with the other colors like it should be. Alright, now the other issue that we have is we actually have to loom out part of the granny square to get these other bands over here where we need them to be. I did have you put on, you actually have a double divider border. So you have this one and then this one up here, which is repetitive. So we don't actually need this one. I think we'd have to open it up anyways to get these other pieces into the band in the middle here. So for me, that's why I loom it with the border on here, because it's just easier, because then all I have to do is remove this divider. To do that, I have been either unlooming it, which if you're going to do that, you need to remove this side piece here. Don't lose it. And then you're just going to get rid of this divider and then put this piece back on for now so that we don't lose our bracelet. And then just unloop this. So you can do that, and then you just want to pull these bands out. I have also just cut them out. Sometimes that's easier to me. And depending on the bracelet, if you've really stretched the bands, they're probably not going to be any good anyways for reusing purposes. So we want to remove these divider bands. Just go in and pull them out. And just over here, just make sure that you don't pull this one off by mistake. A lot of bands. Alright, so like that. So now we actually need to loom out the first square, and then I'll show you what you need to do over here on the sides for closing it up so that it doesn't, nothing shows. So I'll go in and I'll loom out this first square. Maybe. And I'll actually triple loop these to show the difference. So I'm just going to loom this out real quick. It's the same pattern as before, starting with the starburst and looming that out. Like that. And then I did my blue ones first. And then my yellow ones. Like that. And now this time all the purple ones like that. So now you would normally loom the other squares. Actually, I'm going to do that and then I'll come back and show you how to do the side pieces here. Okay, so now I have all the centers loomed out on the second half of the bracelet. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the beginning here where we attach the first half of the bracelet, and you do need to come on in, switch this band and put it underneath this band. That way the border is on top when you're doing your looming up the side. And then if you want, you can go over and do this side as well. So take off this band here, take off your border band, put this other band back on top, and then your border band back. And now we just loom up the sides like before. Where we go, we grab the top band first, where we have the divider bands on this side, and go all the way up the loom. Now I come back to the beginning, go over to the side. So now we're using our bands here to recapture what we did before, where we remove those bands. And I'm just making sure that I get the bottom band here, because it's kind of bunched up so it's hard to see. So, there's that. And we have to do the other dividers over. There's a definite difference in the amount of space in some of the pins when using this crochet hook. Not all uniform. By the way, if you get a crochet hook, you probably want like a 3.25 or 3.5 millimeter hook. This one is a 4, which was the only one that they had at the time. Oops. It's a little on the big side.
one. And then finally up this side. Alright, so that's all done. So now we can take this off of our loom and we'll look at the connection and see how it works. And find out if I missed any more bands. Alright. Just going to put a C-clip here real quick. Alright, so definitely triple band the centers, at least. I guess, I don't know if it was stretchy bands or, I mean, these are only double banded, so I'm not sure why. And so is this one. They're different colors, so not sure why it looks so different on the inside for these bands right here, but I guess different bands. So here's our connection. Looks pretty good. I guess I forgot to switch this band over again. But I mean, you really can't tell where it was connected. Needs a little pulling. So like that. Looks pretty good. I definitely like the second half, but first half, it'll have to grow on me. I did kind of fix where I screwed up that band too. I did hit a little C-clip here in the border so you can't really even tell. To close this bracelet, if you're not using something fancy or like I showed you earlier, I would just C-clip the corners together so that it's kind of continuous. But that is my tutorial for my large granny square. I know people have been asking for it, and I'm always working on things, so hope you learned a few things along the way about the differences to what to do, not to do that I showed you, like making sure to catch all those bands. Hope you liked it. I always have more tutorials in the future. If you have any questions about anything or need some help, just comment or find me on Facebook or wherever, and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.